Story family. This is Allison Gaillard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And we have such a fun story with the mantra man himself, Mr. Don Oswalt with MyRaceTatts. And what a cool story, and just what a cool dude all around. Thank you so much, Don, for sharing your story and the creative way that you came up with MyRaceTatts. Absolutely love it. And how important mantras are. Don just hits on that time and time again, and how we are so negative on ourselves and we need that positivity. And sometimes looking down on that arm or that hand or that foot, whatever you want to put that temporary tattoo, it's going to get you to that next level, and it's going to help you push through. And how many times have we heard, well, you're almost there. And you're like, yeah, but I just want to stop. And you think about that mantra, or you think about the power of that word or phrase, and it just powers you through to get you to that finish line. And what a cool concept. I appreciate and absolutely a huge fan of MyRaceTatts. Guys, go follow them. They are absolutely amazing, and they've done our stickers for our Patreon supporters and temporary tattoos that are exclusive to Run Your Story. So we are tickled for that. They came out fantastic. MyRaceTatts can also do customization. So if you want a sticker or a phrase or that tattoo, definitely reach out to them and they can get you some bulk orders, because they are amazing, guys. And go check them out and see all the different fun mantras that they have. And again, mantras, it's something that we ask in Run Your Story. And wait till you hear Don's story. And wait till you hear his response to what's your favorite mantra. Pretty good. It's actually really good. Also, wait to hear how he qualified for Boston. It's absolutely fantastic. So Don gets it. He is that athlete, and he understands the power of the mindset. And so thank you so much, Don. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you guys for what you do at MyRaceTatts. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I love you guys so much. And again, such a huge fan, and this was an amazing opportunity to hear your story and to learn more about this incredible partnership with MyRaceTatts. And we are so proud to be partners. And guys, MyRaceTatts, they've been filling the podcast for this month. So we are so grateful that they believe in Run Your Story and we believe in MyRaceTatts. So definitely go check them out. You can go to runyourstory.com and there's a link there for MyRaceTatts. And you can also use Run Your Story as a discount code. So again, definitely go check them out, and cannot wait to hear what you guys think about Don's story and just the incredible human that he is. He's so full of life, and he absolutely loves this sport. So grateful, and he's all about the community. So thank you, Don, for all that you do with MyRaceTatts, all that you do for this running community, and for partnering. And again, thank you to MyRaceTatts. All right, guys, get ready, get set, and go run with my friend Don and MyRaceTatts and their run story. Don, yay! Thank
Hey,
you so much.
thank you
So
for having me,
excited.
Allison. I really appreciate it.
Ah. I'm so excited because later on we're going to talk about it, but you are the creator and founder of MyRaceTatts.
Right.
And as a tattoo junkie myself, who has 3 permanent tattoos,
Okay.
I love this concept so much. And one of the things you and I've talked about is how important mantras are. And that is exactly what MyRaceTatts does, is you take epic mantras,
Right.
and when those hard moments, when we want to give up,
Right.
they're reminders to keep going. Thank you so much for taking time to do this and
Yeah.
for fueling our podcast for this month. We are
Yeah.
so pumped to be partners.
I am so excited to support you, and thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. And yeah, mantras and visualization have been a lot of my journey as an athlete. And so
Mm.
I guess we can talk about that later, but it was a passion of mine just to help people with their mental strength, mental endurance, give them self belief. And it just helps with focus and a whole host of things that can help you as an athlete. And so it's been a really fun journey of really reshaping an athlete's perspective on what they can do, and that truly anything is possible. We are totally unlimited or limitless beings, but we just have so many limitations in our mind on what we can and can't do.
Oh, that is so good. Love that. As you talked about your running journey, let's get started. How does your running journey start? How does your story begin?
Yeah, it's interesting. I did a little bit of football and a little bit of track in high school, but after high school, I got married and I didn't do anything. I wasn't physically active at all. And it wasn't until my mid 40s that I was going through some personal stuff and just needed to get an outlet for just clearing my mind and dealing with whatever was going on. And
Sure.
so I had a friend that was in a run club and she said, "Well, why don't you come run with us?" And so that's where it started, is just having that group of people to lean on. And I started running 5Ks and then 10Ks and then did my first half marathon. But yeah, it wasn't until my mid 40s where I started to be physically active. And I really loved it. It really gave me an outlet, as most people have. It's your meditation, it's your time for
Mm,
yourself. It's a way of just letting everything else go and just be in nature, be on the
mhm,
road or in the woods. And it really has been a life changing journey, really. It really has been.
mhm. I love that, and I completely agree. There are moments where I'm like, "I just need to go for a run. I just need to get outside
Right,
and clear my head and just refocus," and you feel like you can regroup now. You're like, "Okay, I'm done.
right.
I've put in the work on the pavement. Now let's do life. Let's move on." So
Yeah,
I totally get that.
exactly.
So, obviously, there have been some lessons that you've learned from running. What are some of those?
Yeah, I think up until the time I started running, I was a pretty shy, I would say reserved person, just didn't have a lot of confidence. And I was really deathly afraid to try new things. And it wasn't until I started to stretch myself or push against the boundaries of what I thought was possible that it taught me so much about myself and about self confidence. And hey, I can do hard things and I can do things
Mm,
that are uncomfortable because our brain wants us to stay in the safe zone. And so taking time and being able to do that has really definitely changed my perspective on just who I am as a person for sure.
that is so good.
Yeah.
Let's shift a little bit. What has been your favorite race and why?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And this is a tough one. I've done a lot of cool things, but I would say I went to the Ironman World Championships back in 2015. And
What?
yeah, it was an amazing, that would be probably my favorite. I did Boston 2 years before that. And so the race, it was the toughest race I've had for sure.
Yeah.
And the bike ride, I was just so ready to get off the bike because the swim was just iconic. It's like you're swimming in an
Mm.
aquarium. There's fish everywhere. You can see the bottom.
Oh,
It was just
wow.
totally amazing. And the bike ride, it's always windy in Kona, and especially age groupers that are getting back to Kona on the end of the day, the winds turn and you're just a straight up
Mm.
headwind. And
Oh,
so 20 miles of headwind, you're going 15 miles an hour. And it's just debilitating mentally. It was
sure.
like, oh my gosh, when am I going to be over? And the run was really great. I PR'd a run. I actually qualified for Boston at Kona.
What?
But the last 4 or 5 miles were like a death march. I was totally out of it. And actually, my nieces were there. I was going to take the flag and go down the red carpet to the finish line. And I came around the corner and it was like you see those pictures of the old guys that are bent over, shuffling down the road. And that's how I looked. And my family was like, what the heck? And so it was, yeah, it was crazy, but it was a cool race and I did really well for being at Kona and age group and all of that stuff. So that would be my favorite, the long-winded version of my favorite race, because it was just totally amazing. I'd love to go back at some point and they changed everything up, but still it's a cool place.
I can't get over anything that you just said, Don. Because
Yeah.
you're like, "Yeah, so I was at Ironman Worlds," just, like, nonchalant here, and then, yeah, while I was there, I also qualified for Boston. No big deal at all.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was pretty proud of that. But yeah, I was wiped out, lost all of my toenails. They just kept falling off every week or
Oh,
so. Would just lose one, lose two, lost all of my toenails. It was crazy because, yeah,
man.
it was, and it took almost a year to grow them all back. It was crazy.
What?
Yeah. It was about a year before I actually could trim my nails.
Wow. The sacrifice we pay as runners.
I know.
That
Yeah, exactly.
or as an Ironman athlete. That
Right.
is wild.
Yeah.
What?
Fun.
Well, obviously, to be an Ironman athlete and Boston qualifier, you have some routines. So let's talk about your pre-race routine. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think I'm big on visualization.
Okay.
It's interesting because the one race that I did to qualify for Kona, because you have to qualify in order to even go, you have to be the
Mhm.
top one or two people in your age group. And it was even months and months before I created a vision board, I created a visualization. And this was even before my race tats. So I visualized, I created a vision board, I took it to the race, and I would just look at that every
Mhm.
day. And before the race, I would take a Sharpie and write mantras on my forearms.
Mm.
And that's where the idea for my race tats came up. But that was my pre-race routine, was to really be in the zone of visualization, writing mantras on my arms and calming my mind as much as I could. And
Mhm.
yeah, that was my routine at every race.
I love that so much, and it resonates with me because I was a swim mom for so many years, and one of the things we did for our son was they're on the block or they're
Right.
standing in line getting ready to go on the block, and so we would write lyrics from his favorite song or
Okay.
something to keep him hyped to where he could calm the nerves and just remember why he's swimming, why he's there.
Right.
So I absolutely love that so much. That's your pre-race routine.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's fantastic.
yeah, and I don't know where it really came from other than at that time I was looking at personal development and reading books and
Mhm,
stuff, and it
mhm,
talked about visualization. And I don't really even remember where I got the writing of the mantras on my arm. It was just something that would help me during the race. And as anybody that has written with a Sharpie, by the time that I needed them the most at the end of the race, I couldn't even read them.
mhm.
So that's where my race tats came about, where they actually last quite a long time.
That is so good. I love that. When you cross the finish line, what does your post-race routine look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was trying to think of that, and I don't really have a post race routine other than I will look back and just, as we all do, I could have done better here. I shouldn't have
Mhm,
done this there. But I'll do a little bit of that, but for the most part, it's just being grateful that you're out there
mhm.
and your body can do what it's doing. It's just really a gratefulness, I think, practice more than a routine of anything. It's just, yeah, being in awe of just all the athletes, whether you're in the top of your age group or way back in the pack. It's a personal journey and you're just discovering your own personal greatness. So it's cool.
Oh, that is so good. I love that.
Yeah.
What a post-race routine.
Yeah, being grateful for what you're
Mm,
able to do out there and being surrounded by people that have the same goal, and it's energizing, really is.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, so good. Okay, so along with my race tats,
Right.
what is your favorite running item?
I think my favorite running item would be shorts with pockets that I can carry my
Oh.
water bottle. So I don't like carrying a water bottle, but I have a few triathlon shorts that have pockets and I can just stick my water flasks. Basically,
Mhm.
I think they're like 13 or 14 ounces. And so I think that would probably be my favorite thing because if I don't have shorts with pockets, I don't really like to carry. So,
That's a great answer.
yeah.
All right, let's talk shoes. What are you running, my friend?
Yeah, I love Hoka's. And I've been a diehard Hoka fan for a lot of years. I actually started out with Brooks way back in the day and tried Mizuno, but when I found Hoka's, they've been pretty much
Mm,
my favorite. for sure. Yeah.
So for your longer runs, how do you fuel? Or if you're doing Ironman, how do you go about making sure that nutritionally you're on point?
Yeah. I use goo a lot. And the thing with goo, and I know the consistency is not very good. And so what I do is I will put it in the flasks and put water. So it's pretty much diluted. You're
Oh,
still getting the
okay.
benefit. You're just not trying to choke down a goo when you're running or riding or anything like that. So I really like that. And especially in Ironman, I use Scratch or Carbo Pro on the bike and during the run. And yeah, Goo, Scratch, and Carbo Pro is my go-to. And I'll also use those shot blocks. I think they're good
Oh,
shot
okay.
blocks.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So that's the first time I've ever heard of somebody doing that with a goo. So do you do it
Yeah.
beforehand? Like you go ahead and put it in your water in your flask beforehand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because obviously you wouldn't want to take it out and then have to.
No,
Okay.
I
Okay.
usually, especially for a half Ironman or even a half marathon, I'll have two flasks and then I'll get some stuff at the aid stations, but at least I
Hmm.
have my fuel with me. But yeah, the consistency of the goo is not the greatest. I have tried the Morton gels and they're actually,
Hmm.
I think that's the new thing that's happening. And that's a little bit better consistency.
Hmm.
But yeah, I still like the goo.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
In a water flask. I would have never thought that. Okay.
Yeah, and
Huh.
sometimes I'll put 2, 1.5 or 2 in that, so it's pretty potent.
Okay. Wow. That's so cool. So you talked about your favorite running memory being obviously being
Mm,
Iron Man,
right,
crossing that finish line,
right.
all the cool things that happen there, losing the toenails. But do you have a favorite running memory where when you think about that, you're like, man, I love running? Like it's just such a great memory.
Yeah, I do actually. It's been a few years now. We have and I think there's a lot of other races like this across the country. So, it's called the Palmetto 200. So, it starts in the upstate of I live in South Carolina. And so it's going from one end of the state to the other down to Charleston, where I live. And it's called the Palmetto 200. So it's basically a relay race. You have I think it was a team of 12 of us, two vans, six in each van. So we had the night shift basically. And it was cool because there was one stretch of road where I was running and it was just pitch black out. So you had a headlight and I started seeing something out of the corner of my eye,
Oh,
and it was fireflies everywhere. Yeah,
what?
it was totally crazy. It was awesome. I turned off my light, and it was like, whoa, it was so cool to just see. It was just hundreds of them in the field out there, just lighting up. It was like Christmas lights. It was very cool. That's probably my most favorite memory.
Oh, that is so amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, it was
wow.
so, so cool. Cause yeah, there wasn't anybody else around. It was all quiet. I think it was like 2 in the morning and it was just a sight. It was a cool sight.
So I have to ask, because you said you turned off your light. So could you still see where you were going
Yeah,
because of
I
all the
mean,
amount of fireflies?
yeah, I could still, cause there was some light, but yeah, I just turned it off for a few minutes and just walked really
Oh,
and just took it
wow.
all in. It was cool.
Oh, that's such a great story. What a
Yeah.
great
Yeah,
memory.
it was so, so cool.
Wow. Man, let's talk meals. So, is there something that when you cross the finish line, you're like, this is what I want to eat? I've worked so hard for this.
Yeah. A lot of times I don't eat a lot of meat, and my wife and I are both pretty much plant-based, 95%. But especially after an Ironman or half Ironman or even a
Mhm.
marathon, I crave a hamburger just like crazy. Ah, so I'll go and have a gourmet burger, not at like McDonald's or something, but I'll just get
Yeah.
a burger at a nice restaurant and
Mhm.
yeah, that's my post-race craving. And then ice
Mhm.
cream, of course. You gotta have ice
Oh,
cream.
yeah. You've worked so hard for that.
So yeah,
For
that's the routine is a burger and some ice cream for sure.
I love that. For your bigger races, what does your breakfast look like?
Yeah, oatmeal, banana. I really like picky bars or
Okay.
picky oatmeal or picky bars oatmeal. because it's made for athletes and it has a lot more calorie. And chia seeds, I put chia seeds in all of my pre-morning meals, especially for races.
Okay. Okay. Do you listen to music when you run?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
I listen
Okay.
to podcasts sometimes. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast and I've got a spot that I go. It's about 2 miles from here, and there's some trails inside of a wooded area, and they're not
Mhm.
very long, but there's quite a few in there. So I'll just maybe listen to a podcast till I get to that spot, and then I'll just turn it off and enjoy the sounds of the woods.
That's so cool. What is your podcast playlist? What do you listen to?
Oh, yeah. Interesting. A lot of it's business. Sometimes I'll have some running podcasts on,
Okay.
or I'll have audiobooks. And a lot of times I'll just
Mm,
listen to audiobooks. I'm a personal development junkie, so I'll listen to a lot
mm.
of mindset stuff and, yeah, law of attraction, things like that. So it's cool.
Yeah.
One of my mentors, his name is James Wedmore. He's a digital entrepreneur and he's got Mind Your Business podcast. And he brings in the kind of I would say spiritual. It's not religious spiritual, but it's like a woo. He can get a little woo, but I like it. So it's cool. We're spiritual beings.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Everything is energy, man. And so
Mm.
yeah.
I love that. I love the woo.
Yeah.
That's been
Yeah.
Let's shift to recovery. Do you have a favorite recovery tool?
Yeah, I do. I have a massage gun and I have
Okay.
a stick. I don't know if those are still around. I bought mine, wow, it's been over 20 years ago, but I really like to use that massage gun and stick. I don't stretch as much as I should, but I found that using the massage gun and stick are helpful for sure. We have a foam roller, but I don't use that as much. If I have an injury or if I'm got a niggle, I'll start using that thing. But yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it's cool.
So, for running, do you have any cross training activities? Obviously, you swim and you bike as well.
Yeah,
Do you just incorporate all of that into your training? Or are you like, hey, I throw in something else?
I do. I
Okay.
usually try to get into the gym as far as doing some kind of weight training, not real heavy, but just
Mhm.
kind of resistance training. So I'll do that at least once a week, but sometimes twice. But yeah, swimming, biking, both of those, especially the biking, has made me a better runner, made me a
Mm,
more
mhm.
efficient runner. It really helps with building your base, building that bottom threshold. And so after I started, because I originally started running and then I got into triathlon. So once I started doing triathlon training, I actually became a better runner and a faster
Wow.
runner, honestly.
Mhm.
So that's been my cross training routine is incorporating swimming, biking, including the running.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Let's talk about a worst race. Do you have one?
I wouldn't say I'd have because everything is a learning experience, whether it
Mhm.
goes
Sure.
good or it doesn't go good. So I don't look at it as bad necessarily in quotes, but
Yeah.
I think it's all a learning lesson. And that's how
Mm,
I look at it. I would say if I had to pick something, I didn't do really good in Boston. I think I was like an hour 30 on the first half. So I was really cooking. And then
mhm.
I was 2 hours on the second half. I didn't feel right at all during that race. And it was warm. And yeah,
Mhm.
I bumped pretty good after I
Mm.
think it was miles 16 or 17. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And then I was actually trying to requalify to go to Kona, and I was in Chattanooga Ironman, and I actually crashed at mile 80, and
Oh,
I fractured my shoulder, which I really didn't even know it at the time. And
what?
yeah, it was crazy. If you've seen bikers that have grabbed bottles from volunteers,
Mhm.
I was on this downhill and I wasn't going real fast, but I tried to grab for a bottle and I missed it. So, of course, you look back, and what happens when you look back? Your
Yeah.
handlebars go the same direction. And I just flew right over my handlebars, landed on my
Oh.
shoulder, and I limped back to transition. And I didn't know if I could run because my shoulder really hurt pretty
Yeah.
bad. So I saw my wife, told her what happened, and I said, I'm going to go at least try to tough it out. And so I got to about mile 6, and man, the wheels just came off.
Oh,
I'd never really walked other than in aid stations. I'd never really walked in a race, especially in an Ironman. And so I started walking. It was a mental battle all the way around. And I got to see my wife, I think it was at mile 10 or 11. She goes, "You're in 5th place." And I was like, "What?" And so I was like, okay, well, I'll try the best I can. And so I actually came and just tried to gut it out, tried to walk through aid stations, do the best I could, run when I could. And I actually ended up in 3rd place in my age group with a busted shoulder. And they only had 2 spots going to Kona. So I missed it, but it
oh,
worked out. It was fine.
yeah.
It was a cool learning experience. But yeah, it was
That's wild.
yeah. So I guess that might have been a bad race, but I was
Oh,
really proud of myself just for not giving
yeah.
up and not throwing in the towel for sure. So
Like, because I'm trying to envision because we do rotation when we run.
yeah.
So that had to be super painful.
Yeah, it was. And you got adrenaline going. But yeah, that about 6 or 7, I was like, oh boy, it was pretty painful. And I tried to just gut it out. But yeah, it was a total mindset, my mental battle, just keep going. And yeah, it was crazy.
When did you find out that it was fractured? Did you go to the emergency room after that?
No, I actually didn't.
Okay.
I knew something was wrong. I had medical look at it afterwards, and they didn't think anything was broken. And they just said, you bruised it and probably just be sore for a little bit. And it got back home and it never really got better. So I did go to the doctor and he said, yeah, you just fractured a chip off the end of your shoulder and going to just take some time. He didn't really prescribe anything. He says it's just going to take some time to heal. And so
Mm.
I didn't do a lot of running, did some cycling, but it took me a while to get back into the running scene. So it was crazy.
That is a crazy story.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was like, "You did an Ironman through that thing?" And I was like, "Yeah." So anyway, yeah,
Wow. Okay. So, what is a piece of advice you would give to somebody that's like, "Hey, Don, I want to start hitting the pavement. What should I do?" What is something you would tell them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to take it slow. And I think the biggest thing you can do that would really help is to find a running group. Find a
Mm,
running group in your
mhm,
local area that is going to really be an encouragement for you because there's every pace in there. So if you're on
mm,
the slower side, you're not feeling bad that you're holding everybody up. There's going to be people that are in the same pace that you are, most
mhm,
likely. And a lot of times they'll have little training plans or they'll give you advice or things like that. So I would definitely get in a running group. And honestly, I would hire a coach
mm,
is going to help you more than anything because they will be able to tailor training plans and evaluate what you're doing and how you're doing and then adjust as needed. So really it's invaluable because they help shorten the curve on the learning. And a lot of times we think that we should train all the time, and that's not the case. And they'll be able to
yeah,
balance that out where they can show you where, hey, today's a rest day.
mm.
So, yeah. For sure.
Oh, that's good. Like it. What are your goals, my friend?
Oh, wow. I've got huge goals, but I think the biggest thing athletically, it's weird because I've done a lot and I've really achieved a lot. And right now, it's not about being first place. It's not about
Mhm,
necessarily getting back to Kona or going back to Boston, which I have those as goals, but it's not the most pinnacle thing for me because I used to, when I first started my athletic journey, it was about winning my age group or being the best I
mm,
could. And where those things, I'm not downing those things at all because we need to have those goals. But it was all about self improvement. It was that self affirmation. It was external.
mhm.
I wanted
Yeah.
validation. I wanted
Mhm.
validation that people would, hey, you did a good job, or those pats on the back, or it will
Mm.
just puff my ego. And it was all about getting that validation from others, where the most important validation is from inside
Mm.
yourself. And
Yeah.
that's the key that has really been the last probably 5 or 6 years of doesn't matter about my place. And I do my best and I'll go all out as much as I can. But it's about the journey, it's about who I'm becoming as a person. And really, that's the focus has been helping others. And that's why I created MyRaceTatts, was to help people understand that they have within themselves the
Mhm.
ability to do hard things, to push the envelope a little bit, to step out of your comfort zone, try new things. And yeah, I think that's the biggest goal I have right now, is to really use that platform to help people believe in themselves, to have confidence, to know that they can do something that
Mm.
they may not even realize they can do. So
Mm. Oh, let's talk about my race tats because I'm already a fan, huge fan.
cool. Thank you.
So, again, love what you guys do. And as you talked about, it's about we get in our own heads, we build up these mental walls and say, oh man, I've got to be able to push through this. But sometimes we need that reminder. So, let's talk about the story of my race tats because it definitely fuels you as a person.
Right.
It's definitely something that you're passionate about. So,
Yeah.
how did this come about and how did you decide, hey, more people need to know about this?
Yeah, like I said, I think before even I had the idea of my race tents, I used to write motivational things with a
Mhm.
Sharpie, motivational quotes on my arms. And it was a pre race routine. It would really just help me set the intention for the day, honestly, and would give me encouragement when it got
Mm.
tough out there. And it really helped me mentally perform better or just get through some tough spots in my racing or even in the training. And so it was actually 2 years ago, I had seen the mainstream tattoo place that was advertising on Facebook or Instagram or something. It was just mainstream, just everyday tattoos for everybody. I was like, "Whoa, that's cool." And then I was like, this light bulb went off as far as, wow, that would be really cool for athletes to have some way of setting the intention for the day and to help them with their mental strength and self belief
Mm.
and all of those aspects. And so we're just 1 year old because I started my race tats in July of last year.
Well, happy birthday.
Definitely, I'm going to have a birthday sale here next week. And anyway, so I had the idea, but it was like, will anybody buy these? So I actually bought some online from a place that I could personalize and that would
Mm.
be the quotes that I wanted. And so I bought like 4 different versions. I sponsored a local triathlon and got a table and put tattoos on athletes at the beginning of the race because I didn't even know if they would last during a swim and bike and run.
Mhm.
And it was just a sprint race. So put them on people. They were when they lasted, people loved them, and I was like, okay, got something here. And so I built a Shopify store, put a pre-sale up, and people started buying them. And I was like, oh wow, okay. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been just a great way of really encouraging and spreading positivity into the athletic community because yeah, we just need self-belief and belief in
Mm.
ourselves. And we've got enough garbage going on in our head
Yeah.
that tells us that we can't do something, that we just need that positive reaffirmation about
Mhm.
that we can do tough things and that we're capable, that we are unstoppable. But yeah, it's been a great journey. I actually have an ambassadorship that I opened in March, and we have 97 ambassadors that are just
Wow.
helping spread the word, spread positivity. And so it's been a lot of fun, and the sky's the limit, really.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And I'm honored that we're not only partnering for the podcast, but there's an affiliate link with Run Your Story.
Yes.
So people can go and check it out because I literally had a conversation yesterday with a friend of mine. We were walking and we were just talking about different things. And I was like, yeah, I have self doubt. And she was like, you? And I was like, oh, yeah, girl, my hardest critic. I'm so hard on myself. And
Yeah.
we were just talking about things. And so that's one of the things that really struck me with your passion is that you're right. We already have enough negativity in our own selves.
Yeah.
And so to have that out there, and not only that, but you have sent tattoos to marathons and
Right.
other athletes because, as you said, it gets hard and you want to quit. And you look down and you're like, you know what? I can do
Yeah.
this. Just that little phrase, whatever that phrase
Right.
is, that it sparks, like it keeps you going.
Yeah, it really does. And that's what I've been hearing from athletes. It's just that little reminder that they
Mhm.
can keep going and they can not give up on themselves, or because I've never DNF'd in a race. If you could realize that if you have, and there are certain instances you have to just because of health.
Mhm.
I think most people regret afterwards, like, I could have made it further, or I could have gone
Mm.
and finished the race or whatever. And I'm not discounting anybody that has had to, because sometimes you just have to.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's the messages that we've been hearing, is it gives them the ability to keep going, or in that tough part of the race, they look down and they can just repeat that mantra over
Mm.
and over again. And there's scientific evidence to back the uses of mantras in training and racing, just because we do have that negativity bias in our heads and we always go to the worst case scenario. And we have to sometimes hijack that. And this is a good, easy way to do that.
Mhm.
And it really has been a lot of fun to spread that joy and positivity in other athletes. So,
I love that so much.
yeah.
And I'm so excited because you guys are making stickers and tattoos
Yeah.
for Run Your Story.
Yeah.
So you guys are our official partner with that. And so
I'm
we're
excited.
so excited.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
I'm excited. And that's the other thing, is not only do the mantra tattoos for athletes, I've also teamed up with the Charlotte Marathon. I did some
Mm.
tattoos for them. The Air Force Marathon, did some tattoos for them. I've done some brand tattoos for Psychology. And so it's not only the tattoos, but it's also helping races and race directors spread some community and
Mm.
photo ops and just some fun with having tattoos on their athletes and during a race. So it's been fun.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love how you took an authentic moment and you said, I want to make this useful. Writing on a Sharpie, as you said, it disappears
Right.
with all the sweat and
Right.
everything else. But that tattoo is there. And if it's anything like a tri tattoo,
Yeah.
it's going to be days before that sucker comes
Yeah.
off.
They do last 3 to 4, sometimes 5 days, depending on where you put them. And they're easy to remove if you don't want it to
Mm.
last that long as well. So, but yeah, they're amazing. And it's been fun to get a lot of feedback, and people just love them. And it's almost like having your personal cheerleader on your
Mm.
skin. And so,
God. Oh,
yeah,
so I have to know because obviously one of our questions that we ask is what is your mantra? You have a lot of them.
I do.
So, what are some of your favorite mantras, Don?
Yeah, I think Believe Achieve is one of my favorites.
Mm.
It's not my bestseller that we sell, but I really like
Okay.
that mantra, because when I
Mhm.
first started my athletic journey, there was a running store here in Charleston. That was their mantra. And it really resonated with me just because that was the journey of my athletic development and my personal development. So Believe
Mm.
Achieve was huge for me. And every race I would write when I was doing the Sharpie was, "You've got this." And so those are two of my favorite for sure.
I love that. And you guys did a poll where it was like, "Hey, what's the new mantra that should be?" So is that how you come up with other mantras that you add?
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
interesting. And I really like the fact that, we're inviting our ambassadors and people on social media that follow us.
Mhm.
And so the first time I did that, it was the She Believed She Could, So She Did tattoo. And that is one of our
Mm.
best selling tattoos. And the most recent one is, so yeah, I put, hey, these are the thoughts we have on the next mantra, picked the best phrase. And so we narrowed it down. And there were three choices, and two of them tied. So we're going to do both of them. First one is, I can do hard
Mm.
things. And so it's been cool. So come up with the phrase, come up with 3 or 4 designs, and then let the audience pick the best design of that one phrase. So it's cool. And so, yeah, we'll be releasing that the middle of August. I should get them in. So, yeah.
That is so great. And I love that because that mantra has been said so much on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, oh, that's funny. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could release one a week if I wanted to, because there's just so many out there. And I've had a lot of requests for swimming tattoos. And so I'm in the process of putting together some bundles for triathlon running and then try and get some swimming ones in there. So
that's genius.
Yeah.
Love that.
So yeah, that's in the works. It's going to take a little time, but it's in the works. So it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's just fun sharing positivity and self-belief. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. Oh, so good. What is your favorite length to run? Whether it's an Ironman, a half, or a training run. So what is it that you like? Oh, yay, I get to go run this today.
Yeah, for just running for training, I like, because it's 2 miles to where I like to run 2 miles back. It's usually a 6-7 mile loop that I do. So I like that. I like the half Ironman and half marathon distance, but I like the full marathon because, I mean, you're not going all out. You have to really pace yourself. You have to be smart about your nutrition and all of that stuff. So I can run a long time without stopping. So that's a cool distance. I have considered and I want to do an ultra at some point. So looking into doing that.
Yeah.
I did one a few years ago. It's a local one. It's called Peyton's Wacky 50K. And so you run a 5K 10 times, but every half hour. So if you get done in 25 minutes, you have 5 minutes rest, something like that. So they just start I think it was every half hour or every 45 minutes. However long it took you, you can just start again. So it was like you did that 10 times on the same loop. So that was a fun one.
Okay. If you say so, Don. If you say that was fun, I believe you.
But yeah, so it's just enjoyable. I think all distances are good. The shorter distances, you're just going all out. So that's not as fun, but yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fair. When you're not running, not on the bike, not swimming, when you're not doing MyRaceTatts, is there something else that you're passionate about? What fuels you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really like to be in nature. My wife and I went and sat in a park. I think it was on 4th of July and just chilled. And I think being in nature is a really big thing, or going to the beach. We love that. But yeah, I think just being outside, being in nature is a huge thing that it de-stresses me a lot, for sure.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So if people want to find out more information about MyRaceTatts, obviously they can go to Run Your Story.
Yeah.
But where else can they find you?
So my website is just MyRaceTatts.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram at MyRaceTatts.com. And yeah, message me on Instagram. Love to chat. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun and just keep growing. We had a viral moment on my Instagram page where we're at 15,000 followers, but I had some wacky video that I posted that went viral, and it wasn't had to do with running at all. And so a lot of my followers are like not even in my ideal client, but that's okay. I actually had to turn that video off because it was crazy. I got it almost had 5 million views on it. And it was like, I would get friend requests or follows, just 70, 80, 100 a day. And I was like, these aren't my people. These aren't my people. So I actually had to delete the video so it would just stop. So anyway, fun story.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, follow us and message me. I'd love to hear of your run stories and the favorite mantras that you have. And I'm always looking for suggestions. So yeah, shoot them my way.
Love that. Any final words of wisdom, my friend?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I have learned is just have fun with your journey. Life is a journey. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be self-talk that you need to get a hold of. Like I said, we always have that negative bias, but just have fun and surround yourself with others and
Mm,
use visualization, use mantras to help you, not just in running, but in everyday life.
mhm.
It's all about just enjoying the journey. And it is about the person you're becoming. And we can use racing and training and swimming, biking, running, hiking, whatever, as a learning experience for just becoming a better person, becoming a better husband, a better wife, a better mom, dad, a friend. And it's just really taught me a lot about being okay with who I am. And I've got a lot to offer, and you have a lot to offer as a person, as a human being, and just have fun. And just know that people are out there supporting you and your journey. And it's just been self belief, being positive. It really goes a long way in life in general.
Oh, I'm tearing up. I was like, wow, that's so good. Oh, wow. I think all of that should be broken down to a mantra. Done.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about just
Wow.
who we're
Yeah.
becoming as people, as person,
Mhm.
as a human being. And
Yeah.
life's too short to get stressed out on stuff because
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going on.
Don, thank you so much for sharing not only your story, but my race tats and what you guys do to make us better and to believe in ourselves. And I'm truly better for knowing you and my race tats.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thanks, Allison. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to continuing the journey with you and supporting you in
Absolutely.
every way that we can because I love what you're doing as well.
Oh, thank you so
Right.
much. How great is Don? And just so fun to learn about how he saw the power of the mindset and said, you know what, I'm tired of writing this on my arm and disappearing when I need it the most. The power of those words, and voila, my race tats. That's just so cool. And man, I wish I would have come up with that. Such a fantastic idea, and I wish this would have been around when my son was a swimmer, because this would have been absolutely epic. We would have loved that rather than from the marker coming off. So thank you, Don, for your story, for the impact you have on this running community, and for what you're doing to make us all mentally stronger. And I cannot say that enough. I get in my own head so much, and I totally related to this and just how important this is. And guys, I've seen the tattoos and they are absolutely amazing. And I'm such a huge fan. I will be having them for running events, for pickleball tournaments. They're going to be on my arm somewhere because I get in my own head and I am my own worst enemy. And I love this idea so much. And again, so grateful that Don, Kathleen, that they believe in Run Your Story and the power of our stories with one another and how important we are as a community. And that's what MyRaceTatts is. It's another part of the story. And I just love that. And I love this partnership so much. And I'm so grateful that I've got to know Don and his story and the cool way that MyRaceTatts came to be. So definitely, guys, go check them out. Definitely like, share, and comment, and go follow MyRaceTatts because they are so good and they have some fun stuff on there. Don posts on there too with his running, and they're just such a fun business. And so definitely follow them. Again, reach out to them about custom work. You never know. You never know. And so again, thank you to MyRaceTatts for what they've done with Run Your Story, and we are so grateful to have this beautiful partnership together. And just thank you for believing in Run Your Story. And again, guys, can't say enough. We believe in MyRaceTatts, and we believe in the power of the mind and how we can impact not only ourselves but one another as well. So definitely like, follow, comment, share this story, and go follow MyRaceTatts because you will be blown away by what they do. They're absolutely amazing. And as always, Gaillard Tech Services, thank you so much for what you do for Run Your Story. So grateful for Gray as he takes time out of his day and weekends to edit the podcast, to update the website. And he is booked, but he absolutely loves what he does. So definitely, guys, if you need to revamp that current website or you want to customize one, definitely reach out to Gray and sit down with him. And he doesn't cost anything for a consult. And if you like what he has to say, then voila, you have a website developer. So he really is a great guy and absolutely loves computers and loves websites. He knows the power of a good website. So definitely go check him out. You can follow him at Gaillard Tech Services online. You can check him out on Run Your Story, and you can definitely check him out on social media as well. And as always, Marcel, thank you so much for giving us such a safe place and believing in the running community. We are so grateful for that, to have that continued support. And to our Patreon supporters, you guys rock. I hope you guys are loving your stickers and your tattoos that MyRaceTatts put together for us. And if you haven't received yours yet, they should be coming to you. So thank you to our Patreon supporters for what you do, and have a wonderful day, guys. Until next time, go run your story, because every story needs to be